General Granger versus Prince Kassad.
This will not go well for you, General. And another who stood against me falls. And so it will be for you, General. No warning, no mercy. You still have time to flee with your life, General.
New construction.
The Stealth General challenge isn't too bad. The first 8 to 10 minutes can be kind of rough, but all in all, it's not the hardest mission. Doesn't really matter which general you are either. Stealth General is better used for multiplayer. He's not as good when the artificial intelligence uses him. At least, I can't think of any generals that have a specifically hard time on this fight. There's no real roadblocks no matter who you choose. You're not going to run into something that you have to weasel your way by. Just keep him out of your base for about 8 to 12 minutes, and you basically won at that point. He can't do anything after that, unless you let him scud you. But, who's going to let that happen? There's no special way to build your base either. You can do a lot of different things, but I prefer to go for the barracks, build 2 infantry, take the oil derrick and the artillery platform, then guard the 2 lanes coming into the base to make sure they can't do any kind of ground assault. Defending against the ground units that he sends through the 2 lanes isn't the main focus of the fight, though. He starts off with most of his general's powers, so he's going to send in rebel ambushes, sneak attack tunnels, bio bombs, and he's going to build a scud storm too, but he sends most of that stuff in within about the 5 to 8 minute point. So if you're not ready for it, he's going to kick your ass and you're not going to be ready for it at all. You're going to have all your defenses on one side. Then he's going to roll a bunch of quad cannons into the back of your base, and all your aircraft are dead, and the rest of your base is finished. It's not the hardest mission, but there is some really strict timing on what you have to do in the first 8 to 10 minutes, so it's not the easiest either.
Good area.
The stealth Comanches are a key part of the way I defend my base on this mission, mainly because the sneak attack tunnels can pop up anywhere, so you need something quick with a lot of punch to take them out. King Raptors are a less expensive alternative for taking out the sneak attack tunnels, but they don't work so well in the rebel ambushes, and until you get Pathfinders, it's just something that you're going to have to prepare for and babysit a little bit, and I don't know, I kind of just prefer the convenience that the stealth Comanches offer. Plus, they do it all without taking up any hangar space, so if I want to use some King Raptors or some Aurora Bombers for something else, I have the spots to do it.
Wise choice building an airfield, but planes alone will not be enough.
What's the story?
Me, General.
Can't build this, sir. Going up.
You can't kill what you can't see. Here comes my next jet. Try to be ready this time, General.
You know, I was going to give the Stealth General a pass because he doesn't seem to have some kind of freaky fetish involving stealth, but he still talks like a fucking weirdo, so negative mark. No.
My forces will grow even faster.
Gunship reporting in. That one's done.
It seems like to be a general, you either need to be a huge fucking asshole or have an extreme fetish for a very specific type of military equipment, bordering on the kind of sexual creepy level. And if you have both, they probably just let you in through the door without a fucking resume. I'm sure Nuke General just showed up and said, I love fucking nukes. And they're like, yep, go ahead. Here's a nuclear silo and a tub of lube. Get to work. I don't know about that. It's kind of like putting a pedophile in charge of an orphanage. I mean, he's really interested in children, and I guess you could say he's an expert in children, but it definitely doesn't make him the best person for the fucking job, does it? Might as well give a foot fetishist a shoe store. That won't be awkward for the customers when he's measuring their feet and getting a huge fucking boner. He's like, no, you look like a size 12. It's all right. I'll be right back with your shoes. Takes him like 10 minutes. I guess at least in that case, he may actually take care of your feet because he wouldn't want him to get hurt because then you wouldn't come back and he couldn't measure your feet over and over again. But I don't know. It still seems wrong to me. Nuke should be managing a subway inside of a Walmart, not a stockpile of nuclear weapons.
Laying the foundation.
Gunship reporting in. Sir. Why so many, General?
Comanche here.
Afraid to come down and face me?
Nav system
3
set.
Comanches should be enough to
Wanna make
defend
some
against any of the
improvements?
tunnels that pop up, but I need to get a strategy center up so I can get some Avengers going, or else the biobomb's definitely going to get through and hit my base.
I can't build it.
While you can just let the first biobomb hit you if you stuff your dozers into some Chinooks, it does waste a couple of minutes, so I don't like letting it hit. You shouldn't need more than 3 Avengers, but you could get by with Raptors and it would be about, half as much, so it's up to you on that point. I kind of prefer the Avengers, though, because they also block the rocket buggy attack, so they're a little bit multifunctional. Though if your goal is to get the shortest time possible, I think the Raptors are probably a better choice. They just require a lot of micromanagement, and I kind of prefer not having to do that if I don't have to. I mean, in multiplayer it's one thing, but against artificial intelligence, I don't feel like I'm getting one over on it. You know what I mean?
Build anywhere.
It's kind of like beating something that's meant to be
Sorry, I
beaten.
can't build this.
So the only thing you can do is either beat it really quickly or beat it in a fun manner. And I prefer to beat it in a fun manner, if you know what I mean. My God, I'm turning into one of them. Now all I got to do is start preemptively taunting people who are going to kick my ass, and then I'll be set.
Warning, sneak attack detected.
Well, I almost lost a dozer, but that went okay. I think a couple more Comanches might not hurt, though, because if those quad cannons get out and you don't kill them right away, they can cause a lot of damage to the Comanches.
What's the story?
Luckily, the
Sounds
missile
good.
damage tends to
Construction.
spread over
I'll
compacted
build
units, so when they all come out of the tunnel, you can kill them pretty much instantaneously if you're quick enough with the Comanches. But if you're not, they'll attack the tunnel, the quads will get out, and shoot them all down.
Upgrading the new supply line.
Most of this level is just about common sense and foresight. You see a defense that's not doing good enough, just beef it up a little bit. That's all you need to do. You don't have to micromanage everything. Though if micromanagement's your thing, you'll probably crush this mission, because there's not too much to threaten somebody who has good micromanagement skills on this one. In fact, you can survive a biobomb or a scud storm on this map. The thing that you just can't deal with is having the front line broken or having a tunnel inside your base. Those are the 2 things that'll kill you. Everything else you can take a hit on just about any other area.
Like new.
The only other problem would be like if you forgot to build supply drops, but you still have an oil derrick, so you could recover from that. It would just take a long time.
What's the story?
I'm a little late with the Avengers, but I can recover from this. I just need to rebuild the fire base and get my Avengers positioned just right so that the rocket buggies can't destroy them. It's actually kind of an interesting little situation. The rocket buggies can always get the first shot off, but the artillery usually kills them after the first shot, so as long as I can block it with the Avenger, I'm good. Then I can pour the rest of my focus into building an offense, since I won't have to babysit any of that, and I won't lose any more money from lost fire bases, hopefully. Should work out just fine.
That one's done.
Defensive laser systems.
Now I just gotta wait for the biobomb before making my next move, because if I build a bunch of aircraft right now and it actually hits, then I lose a lot of money. It's really hard to rescue those.
Tactical lasers online.
That got farther than I expected. Almost had me worried for a second.
All over the battlefield, General. Hidden from view.
In the field.
Ready to strike.
I found them.
Visibility
Your men are behind the little trees behind my base. What do I win for finding them? Does that mean I'm the prince now?
You have been promoted.
I've been promoted to prince. I'm Prince Granger of the USA Air Force. Yeah! All who don't swear their allegiance to me as Prince of America will be beheaded by a helicopter propeller, because that's all we have. Also, seeing as there's no King of America, that means I'm automatically promoted to King of America. I still want the Prince and King crown, though. Don't jip me out on that shit. Or else, I'll have to come up with a better system for beheading. Maybe we can attach a helicopter to a big old piece of wood and with the hole notched into it, just kind of,
GPS
feed people through it like a machine.
reporting in.
Stealth is my ally.
Also, I demand that all King Raptors be renamed to Royal Raptors, because I'm the fucking king. They don't get to have that title. I didn't work this hard to become king just to see other shit called king. In fact, round up the people who made the King Raptor, find the guy who named it, and kill him. And then you can be a duke. Of whatever, you just pick whatever you want to be a duke of. I don't give a shit, but you can be a duke. That's great, right? I think they give you like a check for that. It's like $50 a year, but a book of coupons or something. We'll toss that in, sweeten the deal.
Nav system set.
But call yourself the Duke of Kings and I'll tie you up to 2 separate helicopter propellers and we'll see which one wins.
Any more projects?
We will strike like the snake.
Your pathetic attacks amuse King Granger.
Always ready.
King Granger demands more supply drops.
More projects?
Thank you, loyal jester. Now, Executioner, behead my jester. These ambushes are actually a really good thing because they push your XP bar up really high. You know, they don't really have any kind of fight to put up. They just kind of stand there and let you chew them up for XP. Nom 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 nom. I think that's one of the reasons why the mission is so easy. He sends so many weak units at your base that you reach level 5 in no time, and since they're easy to counter, you don't lose too many defensive units or structures over the whole entire fight, so you have a bunch of leftover money to build a bunch of awesome shit to attack them with, so any kind of advantage Stealth would have from the earlier part of the match is pretty much lost on the point that he's really predictable and he feeds you a ton of experience. Maybe if he mixed it up and sent out some Scud launchers, maybe on that ridge over the base where it has a height advantage where it could probably pick off a couple of targets within your base, that would be interesting, but he doesn't do anything like that. He just does the same old shit over and over again. Then again, all the generals kind of suffer from that. That's a shame. This could be a lot more interesting, and I think the game could support it, but in a lot of areas, it's just too simple. And when it's not simple, it's something like Super Weapon General, to where it's just this kind of fucked up mind game. It's not even the actual Command and Conquer game, and like I said in the last video, it was a game within a game, or actually a shitty game within a good game. So, given the choice, I'll take this any day. Then again, thinking about it, I can't bring up any examples of RTS games with better AI. They all kind of have that problem to where once you find out what the AI is weak at, what they don't do enough, you can get some leverage over on them, and then they're pretty much negligible.
Supersonic aircraft.
That's not to say it's hard to build an artificial intelligence that can beat everybody. That's real easy, but in the case of this game, they give them a buffed economy so they can just keep retrying. They get like multiple do-overs if you think about it like that. And, that's not really too advanced.
Oh, I didn't realize you were so deep.
Still, all things considered, this came out in like 2004, so it's not like there's anything more advanced than this when it came out. At the time, this was about as good as it gets.
Destroy that base defense generator.
I hear the Contra and Shockwave mods have better artificial intelligence, so I should check those out sometime soon, once I'm done with regular old Zero Hour.
Resources generator.
And you know, I feel bad because it sounds like I'm ripping on the game. I'm not. It's really good. It's just when you love a game like this, you start to see some of the seams and some of the stuff that you wish was better. And you know it's not impossible to make it better. It's just one of those things to where, you know, budgets come into play and time to completion comes into play. You know, they could have worked on this game for 10 years and made it perfect, but nobody would have made any money on it. It would have been a huge fucking, you know, drain. So, yeah, there's limitations everywhere. You just have to deal with them, but it doesn't help to ignore them. It's always good to spot that shit out and be a little bit vocal about it. Maybe they'll change it in the next game, right?
Warning, GPS
That is, at least if they don't
scramble
fucking
activated.
cancel it like the last one. But back to the mission at hand. Right now I'm going to build a bunch of combat Chinooks. That'll allow me to attack his quad cannons without having to worry about the Stinger sights. Although hopefully the Aurora bombers will be able to take out the quad cannons, so I won't have to waste any of the combat Chinooks trying to fight quad cannons. We'll see how that works out. I kind of forgot how many units he builds and where he builds them, but I know he has some quad cannons out there waiting for me, and they're the only real threat that the combat Chinooks are going to face. With 4 or 5 combat Chinooks, I should also be able to take on palaces without the RPG troopers inside blowing them up. At least I think so. As long as I'm careful and make good use of my other resources like my General's Powers and Aurora Bombers, I shouldn't lose any of the combat Chinooks. That's the bad part about using those things. I love the combat Chinooks, but just having one of them shot down is devastating. It just gets so damn expensive. I mean, for the cost of 2 combat Chinooks, you could build a particle cannon and take out anything. You know, you wouldn't have to worry about losing any units or anything like that. And if you lost 3 or 4 of them, that's probably more expensive than it would be if your base got nuked or anything like that. You could just rebuild those buildings after a couple of minutes. Probably wouldn't cost you more than 3,000-4,000, but losing 4 combat Chinooks would just, I mean, how much is that? I'm not even going to do the math, but it's, you know, easily in the 6,000 to 8,000 range right there. At least that's the point where it starts to bother me. When I can start counting my losses up as potential super weapons I could have had,
Upgrade.
that's when you really know you're fucking up.
General, our base is under attack.
Alright, the synchronized barracks with the dozer and fucking stealth general talking at me is just a little bit too much. Driving me a little bit fucking crazy here. It's like having a conference call with 8 to 10 people that only want to talk to you, so they're all stumbling over each other trying to just get one question out. It's fucking maddening.
Storm detected.
Why do we even let the enemy general talk over the channel that I use to give orders to units? That seems a little bit fucked up. Like, maybe a little bit of a security risk at the very least. Nothing left to do now but to stuff infantry into helicopters. And since that's monotonous as hell, I think I'm just gonna sip on my coffee until something interesting happens. I'll fast forward to that point in the video too, so you won't have to be tortured by it. Plus, I get to enjoy the rest of my coffee while it's still warm. We all win. Well, my coffee cup is empty. That means it's time to kill this motherfucker.
Passing
I'm
overhead.
afraid your Scud Storm displeases the monarchy. Royal American Air Force, destroy this pest.
Cleared for engagement.
Ah, yes, you please your king. Now bring me a new jester and execute him.
Lost.
But surprise me this time. Make it really silly. You know, with a banana peeler or a pie or something.
Sneak attack.
Also, poison my food tester. He's had it too easy for too long.
Let's build.
This is no supply drop built for a king.
Clock
Your
in.
lord demands more supply drops. More!
Made in the US
I don't care
of A.
how hard you work.
I can't wait for your next attack. General, can we expect it today?
The king shall not tolerate such mockery. I shall riposte in form. Honestly, I don't know what half these fucking words mean. I just remember hearing it in some movie or something. Maybe I'll go back to the king one day, but that's enough for now. No, now it's time for my favorite part of the mission, where I roll in with a bunch of combat Chinooks and they can't do anything to counterattack because I'm a huge fucking baby and I don't want to get my feet wet. Yeah, show them your stuff, boys. That doesn't sound weird. Don't rephrase that. That's a good one. After this, we can nail all their asses real hard, because we're gonna win. Fucking weirdos. Ah, this coffee. Just badass.
Blades in motion.
It's not even anything special either. I just haven't had any caffeine in a while. I just felt like some fucking coffee. Just great. If I keep drinking it, it'll be less great, less special. I'll be less hyper. But oh well. I'll have to switch to something else. You just gotta hop from one addiction to another. That's how you live life to the max. Maybe after this, I'll try crack. Sweet, refreshing crack from the mountains of Georgia. You know, the best crack is home style. You don't want to get any of that processed city shit. It's not the same.
Gunship.
You need to get your crack like Mom used to make it, you know? Just straight from the kitchen to your pipe.
New construction.
If crack could
Getting
clear
to
sinuses as good as coffee, I'd probably smoke it before every video.
work. Always ready.
Maybe if I was a jittery crack fiend, I wouldn't ignore my defenses enough to where they'd get damaged like
Bring
this
on the
either.
scaffolding.
Ah, well, it's not a big deal. I thought I had it locked in. I'll have to keep an extra eye on that, but hopefully I can knock out some of his infrastructure and he won't be able to send so many units out after me. Like I said earlier, it doesn't take too much to defend this area, but if you don't keep an eye on it, the rocket buggies will probably take out one of your fire bases.
That one's done.
Got my missile launcher right here.
I probably should have blown up this oil derrick a while back. I just never got around to finishing it off.
Right here. Got my missile launcher right here.
Shit. No, run away, Avenger. Don't you know how much you're fucking worth? Run, run, run.
Unit lost.
Motherfucker! I'm gonna get you for that, Stealth General.
Targeting cursors set.
I mean, I wish I could. I know you're just artificial intelligence,
some
but I like to
containers
pretend
there.
that you
Scanning
feel
for
this
enemy
shit.
aircraft.
You fucking bastard.
Warning, GPS scrambler activated.
Oh, thanks for the detailed warning about the GPS scrambler. I didn't need any kind of detailed warning about that Avenger, though. You can just, casually mention that the base is under attack. Whatever. $2,000 piece of hardware. Who gives a shit, right? What a piece of shit war advisor you are. If I could, I'd fire you. I'd also fire the Chinese one and the GLA one. Even though the GLA one's kind of nice, but, he still gets shit wrong. What a bunch of incompetent fucks.
I will attack when you least expect it, General.
Prepare to be fucking liberated.
I got the goods.
Unit lost. Warning, sneak attack detected.
Ah. Well, I guess you can't have freedom without some friendly fire.
Avionics online. Breaking the sound barrier. Pushing the envelope. Radar won't pick us up. Avionics radar.
Taking out some of these quad cannons with my Auroras should open a little bit of a window for my combat Chinooks. Although I'm sure they could take on the quad cannons in this whole base without all of them dying, I'd like to prevent any of them from dying if I can, just so I can save up enough to take on that last base without having to, take a second shot at it or anything like that. I should be able to knock it out in one big sweep.
We're going in. I'll get it there. Take it out, boys.
Well, so much for none of them dying. No turning back now. Got to take them out. If I turn back now, I'll have to wait for the powers to regenerate and build more fucking Chinooks than that. Fuck that. I'm just not going to take more than 40 minutes on Stealth General today. That's just not going to happen. I don't have time for it. Got shit to do. Like score enough crack for next week. Alright, I got leverage on this area now. It's finished. Sometimes I forget that artificial intelligence doesn't stuff every building full. I kind of expected the RPGs to take out at least a couple of those choppers, but really the quad cannons were the only threat.
Show your advantage for now,
Blades in
General.
motion.
You'll make a mistake soon, and I'll turn that
Keep
guy
the
in
supplies
his
rolling. Take 'em out,
Me?
boys.
Mistakes? Never. Never made any mistakes ever. So, you don't have to worry about ever getting leverage over me, because I'm not going to fuck anything up. Not once.
You are targeting my tech buildings because you have no hope of reaching my base.
I love these combat
Distribution
Chinooks.
underway.
They may not be able to rank up, and they may not have any kind of healing capacity like the Helixes do, but the fact they have the laser defense makes them pretty much immune to things like MiGs, rocket troopers, or most of the anti-air that the GLA has to offer besides the quad cannons, so they're pretty damn convenient. It forces the enemy to fight you differently, and if you're fighting the artificial intelligence, it usually just lets you clear right through some shit. They won't have any kind of a chance at all. Toss a couple of Pathfinders and RPG troopers in a combat chopper. I mean, what are a bunch of Stinger sights going to do to you?
Blades in motion.
Ah, damn it. I meant combat Chinooks. I don't know why I'm calling them combat choppers. I got that kind of 8-year-old mentality when it comes to some of this shit. Reminds me of old G.I. Joe toys, and I just keep calling them what I used to call them when I was 8. It's like, yeah, that's the chopper. That's the fucking Humvee.
Got my missile launcher right here. Nicely played here.
At least swearing doesn't change. Fucking shit meant the same thing that they used to when I was 8. Although there's new stuff like bitch face and hoe bag. That kind of stuff kind of, I don't know, it dies out. People always go to the classics like motherfucker or bastard or shit face. Oh, okay. Anything face is pretty good. It's just immature. It's that proper level of immaturity and profanity that makes it funny. Like buttfucker isn't funny, but it is when it's used in an immature way. Like if you're at a certain American restaurant and they have the ultimate on the menu, just write buttfucker under ultimate and just leave it there for the next person to read. It's kind of as a gift.
Combat Chinook.
The gift of profanity
Right on schedule.
makes all of our lives brighter and better.
Loaded with U.S. provisions en route.
I know my way around.
Shit, I might have just been better off building nothing but these, skip the Auroras and all that other stuff, just mass up a whole shitload of combat Chinooks.
Sure thing.
Not too sure how effective that would be at the start of a mission, but it would be interesting to see. Maybe I'll come back later and just do an all-combat Chinook run or something like that. thinking about it, that might not be much of a challenge more than it is just a different way to beat the mission. So maybe that's not worth doing another video on. I'll have to look into doing some of the challenges later. I'm actually a little bit more interested in the Contra and the... Oh, what's the other one? Shockwave mod, that's right, yeah. Jin Zan recommended a few of those to me, as well as a few other commenters, and I definitely want to check those out. I like the idea of enhanced enemy AI. And hell, just seeing some new units would be nice too, because it is a shame they never really continued this series. I really kind of got bummed out that they canceled the, 2012 remake, but oh well, that's just how that kind of shit goes. That's why it's a good idea to always try out every single mod that you can find. Any game that has mod compatibility is usually a good buy just based on that, because even if you play the game and you hate it, you could probably find a mod that's nothing like the original game. Sometime down the line, I'd like to try out some of those old Command & Conquer tower defense mods. I remember those being pretty interesting, although they're really unbalanced, and trying to play online was just real mess because there's so many units on screen. The netcode couldn't handle it, so it would just, slow down to kind of like a SNES pace to where there's too many enemies on screen and it just kind of chokes. You get a lot of that shit, but it was still just fucking amazing. Like, the whole sky would be on fire. I remember that. That was great.
New construction.
And maybe these days with better internet connections and better hardware, it'll run better online. It'd be interesting to try some co-op on that again. I remember that being really fun. Ah, man. I probably should have put some Pathfinders up there a while ago. I figured the stealth Comanches could handle it, but yeah, after a certain point, the RPG troopers will kick their asses. There's nothing you can do about that. But it is a good example on how few defenses you really need. You could probably take care of it with a few Humvees instead of going with the Comanches. I don't think you really need that much at all. The Weacher option wouldn't be the optimal way, and you'd probably have to replace a few units here and there, but it could still be done. It wouldn't be that difficult. Even with those defenses destroyed, it would take a while for him to send something that would do any actual damage. He'd probably send a few RPG troopers and some rocket buggies. Rocket buggies could take out an airfield, but again, you could just send in the Comanches to stop them. It would just be a little issue of micromanagement instead of just leaving the firebase there to take care of everything.
Scanning for enemy aircraft. Aircraft targeting ready.
Have a job for me.
But when you're in doubt, just double up. If you got the money to do it, why not?
Lasers online.
Serving our country.
Yeah, this is a pretty sloppy run. I don't think it's going to be overtime or anything, but it could be done more quickly.
Right on schedule.
If I had my defenses already built up in my mind before I made them and I got everything done in a little bit more of a timely manner, I think I could cut off about 10 minutes off the time that I already have right now. I could have attacked earlier. My defenses would have been, something I could have completely ignored because everything would have been set up right with the Pathfinders and all that. But I don't think it's a bad run, just a sloppy run. For the most part, I aim for around 30 minutes per video, and I can't imagine posting another hour-long video of me fighting one of these regular generals that you can knock out in about 30 minutes. It's just too much to ask, I mean, not to ask for me to play it, but to ask for you to watch it, because I barely have enough time in the day to watch a 30-minute video or a 10-minute video, so posting an hour-long video of something that could take 30 minutes, well, it's a newbie mistake. And you can see that in some of my other videos, like the infantry challenge. I just didn't know anything about China, and I was just trying something out. Trying something out's good in some games, but not in strategy games, at least not if you're trying to record for an audience, because it just gets stretched out so far with all the dumb mistakes you make. You have to keep rebuilding and keep waiting for resources to pile up, and lots of dead time. It's not as bad as watching somebody grind in an RPG, but it's close to it. It's not too far off, so let's see if I can't knock this out in about 30 minutes. That's what I'm feeling right now. I can just finish them off right now.
I'll get it there.
Defensive laser systems. Scanning for enemy aircraft.
Well, I got all this extra money. I might as well build a bunch of stuff that could be useful in case the helicopter plan doesn't work out. It's always good to have a backup, at least when you're floating in cash. If all the combat Chinooks get shot down, I can send all the bombers after the vital infrastructure and make them surrender. So that's a nice little extra bit of security.
You'll never see me until it's too late, General.
High-speed bomber ready for takeoff. High-speed bomber ready for
Combat Chinook.
I see forces approaching you base.
Take that, GLA and obvious church in town. Well, if they didn't want their town to get blown up, they would have taken it with them instead of leaving it there next to a bunch of GLA Stinger sites. So, it's really their fault. They should be apologizing to me. I mean, these bombs aren't cheap, and they're just taking up more space that other GLA stuff could be using. So it's really just costing the American taxpayers money. So I think we ought to send them a bill or something like that, you know? Because they're really responsible for that cost.
Serving our country.
Unit lost.
Blades in motion. Show 'em your stuff.
This should be the end for Stealth General. I don't think he has enough anti-air that's not missile-based to take out all these combat Chinooks. I might lose a couple, but I should just be able to stomp all over his base. I don't think it's going to be a problem from here on out.
Blades in motion. That's a supply. Show 'em your stuff. We have contact.
Stinger sights are a lot like bubble wrap. You want to pop them all, but you never understand why you're so compelled to do it. But it feels so good.
Protect the supply.
I can't wait for your next attack. General, can we expect it today?
Alright, you're just in full-on denial mode now, Stealth General. You need to go see a good psychiatrist. Says the guy talking to voice actor clips like they're actually real.
Show 'em your stuff. We're going in. Provisions en route. Keep the supplies rolling. Right on schedule.
This is easily the most bullshit part about this mission. He's already beaten into submission. He can't do anything to recover, but since his buildings are stealthed, you have to unstealth him and attack him to get him to surrender. I kind of get it, but yeah, this took up a lot of time for me on my first couple of attempts, because if you don't know where his buildings are, you look all over the map at a bunch of stupid places where none of his shit is, and it just turns into a big fucking mess.
We have contact. Take 'em out, boys. Provisions en route.
You are victorious.
My men will not accept this defeat from their leader, General. You have signed my death warrant with your superior tactics.
Holy shit, a compliment. I think that's the first time I've heard a compliment from any of these motherfuckers. Maybe he's not as crazy as I thought he was. Anyhow, there's not really that much extra to this match. He's most dangerous within the first 10 minutes because he might be able to get a tunnel off or the bio bomb might hit, but after that, you'll have enough defenses to repel any of that, and he only builds his Scud Storm twice, so if you knock it down 2 times, you don't have to worry about that again either. All in all, it's a pretty easy challenge if you're prepared for it. The only real difficult thing is if you don't know where all his buildings are, it can be a little bit hard to find them all. But worst case scenario, that just takes you extra time. It's not going to roadblock you. It's not going to make the mission impossible to complete. So yeah, it's one of the ones I definitely recommend just looking up a strategy guide on and figuring out where the buildings are, because if you don't know where they are already, it's just kind of a cheap tactic at the end to make you waste time. No real point to it. It's not fun at that point. But it's not a bad challenge. I had fun. Anyways, there's not too much more to say other than I didn't get a good Moab strike. So to end this video, I'm going to toss up a good Moab clip for y'all. Anyhow, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Scope cleaned and mounted.